Yeah, we can't, it's too early to do the like, what are they going to do in 25, 26? So we're going into the creative side of things, and we decided, let's look at 5 what ifs. We kind of bounced some ideas around between the two of us. We've even got 6 that we came up with, and just kind of talk through them just for fun. We don't have to rank them. We're not going to rank them. We're just talking it over. It's content time, baby. And so that's what we're doing. Top 5, or not top 5, 5 what if moments over the last 10 years, because let's not go to like in 1976 if we weren't around then. What would we know?
Yeah, and who knows, maybe I haven't taken a look even at the Patreon comments, but it would be interesting to see if someone who is a fan for maybe a little bit longer than us, who has a good one from like the 70s or 80s. I thought like 10 years is still kind of fresh in our mind, like the last decade at least, and there was a lot. So you want to get us started with our first one here?
Yeah, so the first one that I've written down is we never let in a shorty in, what was it, 2021, when we let in the one shorthanded goal that sinks us in game number 7 of the conference finals.
In game 7, yeah. So that is obviously a huge what if, because the game was decided 1-0. So I wonder if the game goes to overtime at that point, right? Yeah. It's hard to go, oh, well, if they don't let in that shorty, they win the game. Maybe they win, but they still didn't score a goal, right? So it's not like you can go, well, it was, that shorty tied the game and then Tampa won in overtime. And if you take that goal off the board, well, Islanders would have won 1-0 in regulation. It's a little bit more nuanced than that because, like I said, the Islanders didn't get on the board. So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's a chance that they do later in the game or in overtime if that never happens. But I don't know. Where did your head go when you thought of this one?
When I thought of this one, I think the Islanders win. And not only just win that game, but then win the Stanley Cup. It was a clear linear path. Like, oh, we don't let in that goal. We eventually find some sort of hole. There's some sort of depth, because that's what we were kind of built with, at 10,000 scratches is how we kill you type of thing. One of our depth guys finds a way through. Someone like Beauvillier finds a way through and scores that goal in overtime. And whether it's double, triple, doesn't matter, overtime. And then we face the Montreal Canadiens, which is a walk in the park with all due respect to the Montreal Canadiens, who still had Carey Price at the time, would have been a walk in the park for us. It was obviously a walk in the park for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They wanted to win it at home and did it, right? They win in 5 games. To me, not allowing that one goal, which we say never let in a shorty, because they had only let in one that entire year.
That was the only one.
Exactly. A stupid brain fart by, who was it on the ice? I know it was Kyle Palmieri, Josh Bailey, and I forget who the third person was in the corner battling for the puck.
I remember Palms and Bailey the most standing out from that. I don't know who the third was. Yeah.
So it was probably a defenseman, probably Letty or something. Either way, doesn't matter. Goes to Yanni Gourde, he scores, and you're just, that's it, game over type thing. But to me, when you ask me the question, what is the thought process? It's a linear path from they don't allow that goal, they win, and we win the cup that year.
Yeah, that's frustrating, because that would have been a really good. Obviously, you want to win the cup every single year, but there was a lot of things that felt like went right for that team. I know they went the same distance in 2020, but to me, it felt like the 2021 Islanders were the better overall team at that point. Like, they had their bubble magic the year before, but it felt like in the regular season, at least, they were kind of, bleeding a slow death there. And then Adam Pelech's able to come back healthy, and that really helped them in the playoffs that year. But the 2021 team, they were just good the entire year, right? And, they take care of business against the the Penguins in the first round. And then they go up against Boston in the second round and win that series in 6 games. And this one goes 7 dramatic home ice wins in both game 4 and game 6.
Yeah.
And last year at the Coliseum too, like there was just so many factors that really made that year special.
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, they don't let that one in. They find a way to get through, because again, like Tampa walked over Montreal 5-1, 3-1, 6-3, 2-3 3-2 overtime loss, and then 1-0 to seal it. Walked. They just walked them. It wasn't even funny. I'm sure we would have done the absolute same, because that Montreal team was nothing really to snuff about. It really, there was nothing special there outside of Carey Price, and even then, just looking at the scores, wasn't really elite Carey Price. He retired like the next year as well. It's like,
yeah, he was pretty much done at that point, unfortunately,
Yeah.
with the injuries. That's a good first one. That was one when you preface this. I know you mentioned that one first, but that would have been my first one to bring up, and I'm sure a lot of people have that on their lists.
Yeah.
Another one that I think is going to be pretty popular here is, what if John Tavares didn't leave and he re-signed with the New York Islanders?
Yeah, I know Bill immediately, Tavares is a fraud, and he's absolutely right.
Sure.
But you keep Tavares and you plug him into that Barry Trotz system, right? Because we're assuming everything else remains the same, right? So
that was going to be my next question, because what was the offer? $11 million from the Islanders?
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was basically matching Toronto.
What is the domino effect of that was why I wanted to bring this up. Because of course, let's just say, simplest of terms, you plug Tavares on that team, but I'm assuming no Leo Komarov signing, no Val Filppula signing, maybe Thomas Hickey doesn't get signed. That's like $8 or $9 million. They might have even had to do something else. And then my thought too after this was, Brock Nelson probably doesn't get a contract extension after that. And there's, Anders Lee was up the year after. What happens there? There's a lot of what ifs, which is why my mind went to this one early too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of what ifs. Bringing up Brock is a good one. Brock never goes to center then, right? Like Barry Trotz probably doesn't make him a center if he's got John Tavares. And so we never see elite Brock.
No, it'd be Tavares down the middle and Barzal down the middle on the second line. And then, Brock had one more year left on his deal. Or no, he got a 1-year deal before 2018-19.
I think you're absolutely right. Let's bring it up. We have time.
Yeah, we have time. But maybe they don't. Maybe they trade Brock Nelson. Maybe they don't even sign him to that 1-year bridge deal. What was Brock Nelson? I want to say 1 for $4 million is standing out in my head for some reason.
That sounds right. It was 1 year, $4.25 million. So you're pretty freaking close.
Okay. So that probably doesn't. That might be enough then. Brock Nelson's traded. Mm-hmm. No Leo Komarov, Val Filppula, Thomas Hickey re-signing.
Probably. But you have what is at that point really a number one center in this league and under Barry Trotz, right? He can play that slow possession, maybe not even possession pace, that slow kind of counter. It's not even counter-attacking hockey, just slow control. Mm-hmm. There's a slow control game that Barry Trotz wanted to play, and Tavares excels at that. He excelled at it even with the Islanders for years, and would flourish in a system like Barry Trotz. Maybe not turn into a 100-point player, but certainly remain the 35 goal, 80 to 90-point player he was at that time. And then you plug that in, you add Matthew Barzal, who just came off winning the Calder Trophy, scoring 85 points. That's a complete team. You've got everything. You've got absolutely everything. You still make the Robin Lehner acquisition, or obviously Lou tries to sign Varlamov, but he probably makes the Robin Lehner acquisition, right? Because it was cheap, and if he just spends $11 million, he's got to be cheap. But they turn him into a gem, and then you're set. You've got everything. And maybe they probably make another conference final with that kind of setup.
Yeah, I think things would have been really different. Right. And then you get the other side of the argument on it, which I'm not there, which is that Tavares just isn't a winner, and they would have just kept bowing out in the first or second round with Tavares, kind of like what he did in Toronto. But I think with how the rest of the team was structured, I don't personally view it that way. It doesn't sound like you do either.
No, because when you look at the Toronto situation, it's not just because Tavares. No. Right, like they're losing because of Tavares. A lot of the blame goes on Mitch Marner. I don't put it on Mitch Marner. He's had some bad games and bad shifts for sure in noticeable moments, which kind of sucks.
Yeah,
but it's a collective. And so the thing with Tavares is like he would now have a team that wasn't surrounded, or that was surrounded with at least some decent talent. Right, in years prior, it was all on Tavares. Tavares had to be at his peak to get anything done to win that Florida series, and we even won that by the skin of our teeth, basically.
Yeah.
but you get him not only just a supporting cast in Matthew Barzal, Nick Leddy, Johnny Boychuk, Robin Lehter playing well in nets, but then you get him a goddamn coach, which is the one thing he's missing his entire career with the Islanders, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he had Jack Capuano and Doug Waite pretty much for the majority of his career, right?